Okay, it's Vikram Sareen here, Chief Architect, Founder, Mula Technologies, and I'm super excited to talk a little bit about Unlearn Startup, part one. And one of the first questions that I've been asked is how to make B2B enterprise, on-premise, software platform. So you would have a great idea, and then you feel that you want to set up your own fintech or insure tech company, and then what does it really take to create a system that will actually help BFSI clients, banks, financial institutes, or any other set of customers to actually use your product, which will be mostly on-premise platform. So let me quickly get started. So obviously you will have your own core system, the workflow, and that workflow will essentially be covering your unique USP that you are actually building and selling, right? So it could be either in terms of mobile automation or AI getting involved for fixing certain problems. So whatever you're doing is fantastic. Okay, so what will be apart from your core or nucleus will be, there will be a lot of things that you need to actually take care when you actually when you go and sell your platform or your product to these B2B enterprise customers, right? So I have listed down around I think 12 to 14 points that I would like to highlight to you, and see if if it can help you, and it gives you a little bit of direction of how you want to build that. Yeah. So let me quickly get started. I think first and foremost, what will come across is the operators and users. Okay, so you will have certain set of operators which could be administrators or reporters or help desk or the top C that actually need to be categorized, and they will also have certain access to the data or to the functionality or the features that you're giving in in your platform. So that will be most likely through the APIs, or it will be from the dashboard. So you need to take care of that. You should also have a provision of where these operators can be validated and pulled from another source, possibly Active Directory, LDAP, or another database or another web service call that actually gives you the user source. Yeah. So in terms of 1FA and who are the users in that group. So users in this is basically the operators that will use the system, and second will be your consumers, actually the end users. And again, these end users could be grouped into different compartments or departments, in a way that, let's say, if I'm making something for loan, then I will have students loan, I will have old age loan, I will have personal loan. Another example would be that if I'm having prepaid customers versus postpaid customers, so I have some some type of segregation happening there. So your platform or your system should be able to take care of that. One side is the operators, and the other side will be the end consumers, and there should be categories over there. And then you need to have access policy, and you need to have grouping for these two respectively. And the point number two that will come in is your system will be talking to other systems, so which could be possibly a SMS gateway or a SFTP or IVR or email gateway, push notification gateway. So there are a lot of other components that will come in to actually make your workflow work properly. To do that, you cannot have hard-coded values, right? So you need to have your system which should be plug and play with other systems. So when you're designing, your architecture should be able to take care of that. In essence, that you should not hard code, and you should have flexibility where these third-party systems can be integrated into your system, and your system works flawlessly without changing your core. Yeah. Now going to the third important one, which again is very, very crucial, is database. Now database, customers might say, okay, I'm okay to use Microsoft SQL, or I'm okay to use MySQL, or DB2, Oracle, and there are ample number of other RDMS databases that are available. Or if your system uses unstructured non-SQL databases, then you need to do that. But there has to be some kind of flexibility that you need to provide, so the customer can actually choose what form of database they have or they want to use, and then your system should be able to work with that. So you need to have some kind of layering, to kind of address to this particular requirement. Yep. Going to the next one, fourth point, which is very, very important. It's we call it 3 tiers architecture. Now, I think most of us know about it. So I'll quickly try to cover it in terms of more, how BFSI, clientele will look at it. So it's web, app, and database. So these are the 3 tiers that will come in. So your product should have something that is fitting into the web, that is for the end consumers, and possibly for internet facing partners that are coming overseas. So let's say if you're exposing web services, then in your web layer you will be deploying something that actually exposes your web services to third parties, right, or a portal to your to the customers that are coming in. Inside will be the app, and then inside that will be the database. Now app will be the core nucleus of what you're building. So you will have operator portals, you'll have web services that are getting exposed, you will be talking to a lot of other systems, so all that happens from there. And then you go there now to the database, and again database is where your most sensitive or critical information will be relying. So you need to have 3-tier architecture, because in most of these corporates, especially who are under regulations, they demand that you need to have a 3-tier architecture. Yeah. On top of that, what goes is high availability. So many times you will be expected that your system should be able to give 99.9% uptime with a TPS, high TPS that should be entertained on daily or weekly basis or monthly basis. So you need to have a system which has got 2 or 3 more servers, either on the web app or on the database, and they should be able to cater for the high availability. So you can either use OS level clustering or app level clustering, or you can build your own clustering if you want, and do that. One of the good tips will be that use Apache at the front in the web layer, and it can do some fantastic load balancing and all that. The second thing you will be coming into this point number 4 will be the disaster recovery. And especially after 9/11, a lot of regulators have actually enforced that you need to have disaster recovery. So it need not have full capacity, but at least 50% capacity that should come in. And there will be a biannual switch that should happen, meaning that after 6 months you will be turning off the production side of the live site, and then you'll be moving it to the DR, and the DR should work for a couple of days or a month, and then after that you'll roll it back. So this is to ensure that the business continuity is there, and this is one of the very, very important things that you have to keep in mind when you're making B2B software. That is your software 3-tier? Does it support HA? Does it also able to handle the DR configuration? So whatever designing or architecting, please do pay attention to this particular part. Yeah. And next, 5th point was I would say app hardening and database security or hardening. So you will be asked that have you done a penetration test on your web app and database, and what's the report like? If you have not got it done, you should get it done. It also helps you in terms of what issues could be there into your system, and you can fix them before the client discovers them. And then on the other hand, if client gives you a report, you can actually also look a little bit bad that you have not done this part. So from an enterprise sale point of view, B2B, you should have some kind of hardening or testing done on that part. Yeah. Next is which compliance also demands is the point number 6 would be that logging and event management. So if everything which happens should be logged. So let's say if there is operator coming and doing certain operation in terms of database or SMS gateway or a specific user, then your system should log that who actually did that operation. And this is where a lot of softwares fail, because they do not comply with the regulators' demand of auditing and logging. It sounds very simple, but most of the softwares we have also come across, they have actually missed that part. So it's highly recommended that if you get your logging done or auditing done from the day 1, then you will be in a much better place to sell it to a to a large enterprise. Going to point number 7 is what we have is the performance testing. see, you will be expected to show some form of report that how much stress you can handle in terms of users coming in. So if you have, a system that's prepared for 1 million users, so you gotta pump up the data into the database. You have to run it through your app web all the way, stress test the whole system and actually come up with some real tangible figures, saying that, okay, if you give me a 300 TPS or 3000 TPS, and this is where my system starts throwing errors. There are a lot of ample number of free tools. What we use is Selenium and then also JMeter. You can also write your custom scripts to actually produce that kind of load and then do the testing. Yeah. So point number 7 is also on performance stress testing. Yeah. Now going to point number 8 is reports. Everybody loves reports, especially customers want reports like how is the system performing, how many people have signed up. If I want to pull a specific report for a consumer or an operator for a specific time frame or for a particular action, in terms of audit reports, in terms of system health reports, in terms of your core business reports. So let's say if I'm doing lending, that I will have certain ABC reports that are coming in. So typically what we have seen is that if you build your reports to be a bit more flexible, which can actually go into the database and pick up all the data and show it back, so you let them pick up whatever column attributes that they want in the reporting, and then throw back a HTML PDF kind of downloadable format, then it's much more acceptable. Instead of you having very specific static reports, that's where it really limits you, and then a lot of times they will expect you to change them to suit their requirements. So in that context, we want the report, the operators who will be pulling these reports, to have flexibility in what they want to pull. Now going to the next one is the point number 9, which is strong authentication. We all know there have been a lot of breaches that have been happening all over the world, and I think Equifax was the latest one, and if you look at Swift was also there. All the big guys have also suffered breaches. So breaches essentially needs to be addressed at the peripheral. That means who is accessing the data, right? So if you just put in a second factor or a multi-factor authentication in place, you are actually building another a barrier for the hackers to come in, and that's where a lot of people shy away. So if you're building corporate B2B on-premise software, adding MFA or 2FA as an option, and push it onto the customers, because they will like it, they will respect you that you are taking security seriously, and in terms of compliance, and also in terms of security or likeliness of you getting the contract or you getting the sale will be there. So from a B2B point of view, do that. It will add a lot of value to add second factor into your systems or system. Okay, next is if you are really getting into the solutions which involves sensitive data, which could be cards or patient data or sensitive user data, then it is highly recommended for you to use HSM for the key management and certificate management. I will not get into details of the HSM part, but HSM is essentially a much higher grade of security, hardware-based security that will come in for protecting. Yeah. Again, I did it as an option, but it's a good option to have. You will have much more credibility that will you will come in. So you can have few companies that can give you the HSM cards, PCI cards, to test your product with, and then the same thing can work with actually the hardware that they'll provide to you. Yeah. If your solution is on cloud, there are certain options that are available, but on-premise B2B platform which are having sensitive information, sensitive data, highly recommend to use HSM. Yeah. Next is data and system backup. So that is my point number 11. You will be expected, the data should be backed up. You will be expected that there should be certain cleaning after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Certain data should be cleaned up or backed up or zipped up and dumped into some FTP site and all that. So please have those things ready. That will really help you. So database and system backup scripts and schedulers will be one of the key things that will add value to your B2B. Next is item number 12. I would say get your code scanned. using some static dynamic pen tests that can actually help you to look inside your code and see if there are any backdoors that are left intentionally or unintentionally. Again, it's a very open thing. So but the value you get is that it will be good to know if there are any issues in the code that you have. And also you can use profiling. So if you're building something in Java and .NET and all that, and then you have profilers that can actually build a profile of when you run the code, and then can actually tell you where is the choke point. So it can also help you improve the performance. Yeah. Then the item number 13 is that installation, uninstallation, patching, all these kind of things. And then also very important thing is if you can control your product with the activation license key. Now this is intentionally done so that obviously your license cannot be replicated, and secondly it can also give certain people who have access to your software, they can't replicate that out. So you want to have activation code which is binding your software to that particular server, and then from there you are able to create a kind of secure shell that can actually hide away your product on that particular machine and then give value. Again, it's not a product feature or anything but it's something which people expect, so that they know that you are really concerned about the security and privacy to a level that even the admin copies the code out of that machine, they still cannot use that, and that is the kind of comfort the people want from you when they actually look at buying B2B software. Yeah. Then the last one is you will have bugs, you will have change requests, you will have updates. So you need to have a proper code version management, and you need to have a proper patch management that will coming in. So that when you're giving patches, in production, DR, for whatever you're doing, you should have a proper way of doing it. So there are a lot of good tools that can be used, for this. Again, I'm not getting into details, but you should be able to do that. And then your patch should be done as well documented. What is changing, what's the version, all these kind of things should come in, and that will actually help you obviously in terms of tracking which client is using what, and then also it will be very professional way of doing that. A lot of new companies actually miss out on this part, and they only reach once after 3-4 years down the line they do that. But the earlier deployments, they actually really struggle, because that's where you have deployed your initial versions, and then there is very difficult to actually update them. So if you take this point number 14, which is version control and the patch management, it's extremely valuable when it comes to in terms of making on-premise product sales. Yeah. So with this, thank you so much, and look forward for your comments. And if you want anything more from my side, please shoot it out at Vikram at or Vikram Sareen at gmail.com, or Vikram at bluebricks.com. And have a great day. And this is one of the beginnings. There will be much more that will be coming in. So this was in context of B2B on-premise products, that what you should look into, or what should be the things that you should look into when you're really going for development of something like that. So typically it will take a little bit of more extra effort, but it will be all worth it when you really go and make the sale, and tell your clients that this is already been taken care of, and you don't need to change anything, you don't need to build anything new, it's already part of all that. Yeah. So thank you. Namaste, as they say it in India.